Hi, I'm Nick Janes, Director of Communications for Overland Expo, and this is how to plan an Overland build. But before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's first level set on what exactly an Overland vehicle is. First and foremost, it should be rugged. Whatever that means to you. Sometimes it means ladder frame, sometimes it means a hardcore Subaru. You guys can decide that for yourself. But you want it to be four-wheel drive, either be true 4x4 or something more like a Subaru with symmetrical all-wheel drive. Again, that can blend into how you use it. We'll talk about that more in a second. And more importantly, you're going to want to think about what you can afford. And that's going to be a theme throughout this video. Okay, so we've established it's rugged, 4x4. What else? It needs to be at least 15 years old. That's our approximation, and we don't need to be snobs or anything. I mean, I've got an Overland vehicle that's 30 years old, but I don't really take it out very much. That's because there's not a lot of parts still available for it, be it new or aftermarket. And aftermarket support is very important because, well, a stock vehicle, it's gonna be, let's be honest, a hard Overland vehicle for you for a whole host of reasons. Lastly, that kind of era of vehicle, 15 years or newer, like this one's an 08, is going to have factory support. You know, legally, automakers have to support vehicles up to 10 years old. So there's plenty of parts like this still sitting on the shelf at Toyota dealers, even in the middle of nowhere. Okay, now we know what a good Overland vehicle is. How are you going to plan your build? First and foremost, think timeline, think budget. The first way to do that, well, think tires. Yes, that is really the first thing you're going to want to get for these. You can actually do some meaningful Overland adventures with a fairly stock 4x4 vehicle with really good tires. Overland tires typically are AT, which is all-terrain, or mud terrain. And I had a friend tell me, I've never had mud terrain and wish I had all-terrain, but I've certainly had all-terrain and wish I had mud terrain. I can make that argument either way all day long, but those are the two ways to go. And it's like a race car. The rubber that meets the road is the most important, okay? You can have all the traction control, all the lockers if you want, but if you've got little highway radials, you're going nowhere fast when the mud kicks up, so to speak. And then you can build from there. You can either totally plan it out or you can piecemeal it. I've done it both ways. You can add recovery gear, which is important, be it a badass winch or just some max tracks or traction boards, things of that nature. You can figure it out as you go. Certainly, a must-have item is going to be a jack. And I'm not talking a high-lift jack. Those just look cool. Those are like candy on the back of a vehicle. Yes, high-lift jacks have their place in time. It's actually for lifting a tire off the ground so you can get max tracks or something underneath it to regain traction. It's not for rescuing the vehicle in a meaningful way, changing a tire, things of that nature, because they can fall over and take your teeth out. Again, that's a whole nother video. You can then talk about ground tents, swags, rooftop tents, all of that. That's up to your own personal taste, your own budget. Again, budget is very important. The last thing you're going to want to get, though, for an Overland vehicle is, okay, you ready for it? Suspension. Yes, everyone wants to lift their truck immediately. It's not necessary. The 2022 Overland Expo vehicle, the ultimate vehicle, has stock suspension, believe it or not. Yeah, you can do a lot of incredible trips without lifting your vehicle. I've made this mistake before of getting suspension and then adding a bunch of stuff to it over 18 months. I've had to redo the suspension 3 times on at least one of my vehicles. It gets really expensive. Don't do that. So it's better if you've got the time and patience is very important in this, to plan it all out against your budget, against your adventure plans. What do adventure plans look like? Well, that means, are you just gonna go on fire roads with your friends or your significant other once in a while? Or are you gonna go to Baja for 3 weeks absolutely solo? These are the sort of considerations you need to take into account when you're planning your Overland vehicle. Of course, this is gonna change over time, become more seasoned Overlander, and you wanna go do those longer trips. But maybe don't build to compete with Clay from Expedition Overland or try to build your own ultimate vehicle right out the gate. You wanna be a little bit more budget friendly, I guess, financially savvy, whatever you wanna call it. But think about if you're gonna have a partner with you, someone who can help you in self-recovery, run the winch while you're out there, digging holes, or are you going absolutely solo? Are you gonna go with friends as well? Are they gonna be there? Are you the only person with a winch to pull your friends through? I've been there. It's not that fun, but it's nice sometimes. I know we've covered a lot of topics in this video and just barely scratched the surface. That'll be for other videos in the future. But to summarize, if you're thinking of planning your Overland vehicle, you want to think about budget, you want to think about the timeline, and you want to think about how you're going to use it. If you want to learn more right now, though, you can go to overlandexpo.com. Thanks for watching.